This is the Dr. Berg Show. Live from the nation's capital, it's time to get healthy, lose weight, and feel great. Call now to speak with Dr. Berg at 866-561-4292. And now, Dr. Eric Berg.
Hey guys, I'm back. It's Tuesday. It's actually Friday morning at 9 o'clock. So next week, we're going to do this at Thursday morning at 9 o'clock. I'll send you an email. But we have a lot of callers already on the air. For those of you that want to call on, the number is 866-561-4292. Okay, got a little background music there. So basically, I'm going to take your calls. You can give me your burning question. Again, the number is 866-561-4292. All right, so give us a call. So let's go right into the first call. It's Alejandro from Michigan. Go ahead, you're on the line. You had a question about multivitamins or other nutrients.
Hey, Dr. Berg. How's it going?
Good, how are you?
I'm good. Thanks for taking my call, by the way. So, yeah, my question is about a multivitamin. I was wondering, would you recommend taking a high-quality multivitamin or wheatgrass juice powder and unfortified yeast? And if you do recommend wheatgrass and yeast, is one serving enough for the day?
Good question. Now, the wheatgrass juice powder is kind of a little different. It does have vitamins and minerals, but the main thing that wheatgrass has is all the phytonutrients, which I'm actually in the process of doing an analysis on the phytonutrients. All those powerful antioxidants that have huge effects on vision, brain function, cognitive, and health. Tons of chlorophyll. It's a healer. So that's a little bit different than multivitamins and multiminerals. So when looking for a general multivitamin, multimineral, the main thing you want to get is you want to get a food-based one that has comes from food, because you look at the back of the label, got to make sure they list the actual food it comes from. So that's important. Now, as far as the vitamins and minerals from the electrolytes, for example, that would handle all your minerals and the trace minerals. Of course, you know, if your hair is going bad or your nails or your skin, you can always add some additional plant-based trace minerals. The nutritional yeast is something that always comes up. It's a great source of B vitamins. I recently released a video this morning. Some of you already asked questions on that because you want to get a non-fortified one. And you can find it online. There's a couple brands. I think it's Sarah Foods. The problem is consuming it in a spoon is kind of chewy. It's hard to eat. I did create one right here. This is a new release, nutritional yeast tablets. The nice thing about this one is it has, it's non-fortified, and it's in a tablet, so you get to swallow it. And there's not any chemicals in it. It just has the nutritional yeast concentrate. I've tried to cramp as much as I could into the one tablet. I added some natural B12, so it's a real complete food-based B12. So hope that answered it. Okay, good question. Hey, Brian, you are from Maryland. Go ahead. You had a question about net carbs, right?
Yeah. I had recently done, well, a couple years ago, done a keto diet where I did absolutely no carbs whatsoever. And I mean, I did very well. I lost about 100 pounds. Bad habits, unfortunately, got me back. And I know that's not healthy to do that. So I've been trying to get carbs from vegetables, but should I be doing net carbs? Should I be doing total carbs? What exactly is your view on that?
Brian, that is an awesome question. So let me just cover that, because there's a confusion, because in keto you want to do 5% carbs. So that eliminates a lot of carbs, especially the vegetable carbs. So my whole thing, my tweak to the ketogenic diet is that we don't want to factor in the vegetable carbs, okay? We don't want to factor it. I'm talking about all the other carbs. Let's say you do hummus. There's some, chickpea in there, so, you can rate that. Let's say you do a small amount of berries in your kale shake. Okay, count that. That's the 5%. That's the 20 grams. But you want to be in unlimited vegetables. Why? Because, I mean, if you do keto without large quantities of vegetable, you're probably going to end up with nutritional deficiencies. You're going to have a hard time converting to fat burning and doing it long term, because the amount of waste that comes from ketogenic diets, I mean, you do have a lot of ketones are acid, so you're going to change the pH of your body. So you're going to have to get rid of some of that acid waste in the pathway of these acids. We release a lot of what's called nitrogen, And that could lead potentially to either kidney stone or specifically uric acid stones or gout. So that's all that protein coming out or the uric acid coming out, which is one of the byproducts of protein metabolism in general, especially when you're converting protein into fuel. So the point is that you want to go 7 to 10 cups of vegetable or a good amount of actual salad. So you want to combine salad and vegetable together to get at least 7, even more. I do consistently over 10. You can try less and see how you feel, but that's going to kind of keep the fat flowing through your liver and out of your body. It's going to keep the nutrients in your body. You're going to feel a lot better. Even to metabolize the protein on your muscle and your hair and your nails and your collagen, you can't do it without potassium. And yeah, you can take a supplement, but you also have to get it from vegetables. There are people that just don't like vegetables. I don't know what to tell you other than you're going to have to figure that out. You're going to have to enhance it, but you're going to have to find some vegetable to consume. But yeah, that way you'll feel better, your blood sugars will be better, you'll heal insulin resistance faster, you'll be able to do it longer, and you won't have the bad breath, less adaptation side effects. All right? Thanks, Brian. Hey, Kitty, you're from California. You had a question about the eating plan. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you, Dr. Berg. It's very nice to talk to you. You do a very good service.
Thanks.
I really am finding that I need a plan. A plan would work better for me than just deciding, okay, today I'm going to eat blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Do you have? I understand you have a new thing that you've released for a supplement to your other book.
Yeah. So there's a quick plan. It's right here. It's a little booklet. This is basically a companion to this book right here. You can get these separately on Amazon. You can get them on Kindle. You can get them if you go to my website. You get these together so that you get this free. Okay, so you can decide. This kind of is everything you need to know. This is the nitty-gritty of a jump start. You can get through it in an hour. It has a lot of pictures. I like books with pictures, but do not just go right to the eating plan. At least read the beginning part because you need to understand why it works and how it works, and then go right to the eating plan. So this is what you need to get. If you really just want to get this, go ahead and get it, but this will give you, you can't just get this by itself on my website. You can go to Amazon and get it, but you can get them together. But the point is that this one, it's not lose weight, get healthy, it's get healthy to lose weight. This is like a real nice plan to just get you jump started. I think that would be the best thing to do because that way you have references. You see pictures of the actual foods, the ideal scene as far as what you need to eat. All right, Kitty, thanks. Hey, Arlene, you're from Delaware. You had a question about nighttime twitching. Go ahead.
Yes. How are you, Dr. Berg?
Great. Thanks.
Good. Good. Thanks for taking my call. I have a CPAP machine, and I was wondering how often should I clean the tubes and the filters? And I also have a Candida problem, and I wanted to know what can I do to get rid of that along with the body twitching and stuff.
So I have a question. Are you doing the keto intermittent fasting yet?
Yes.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, what I'm doing is I'm eating between 1 to 2 meals a day.
Awesome.
A lot of times it's just one meal. And I take a big salad with cheese and olives and well, I ain't make my own dressing yet, but I use a blue cheese dressing and an egg and bacon.
Good.
And usually that holds me the whole, but if not, I'll just have about 4 or 5 hours later from 2 o'clock, I'll have like a meat and vegetables. And I don't even know if that's enough fat for me.
Okay.
But I have been losing like slow.
Okay. Well, let me just give you some data, okay? First of all, the twitching, nighttime twitching, that is a pH problem. So you just need to take a little apple cider vinegar, maybe a tablespoon in a little water, take it before bed. The pH will drop. The calcium will start loosening up on the nerve. It could be underneath the left eyelid, usually, which is kind of weird. I don't know why it goes there. It could be on the arms, whatever. And then as you correct the pH, the nervous system will start working better. Okay, that usually works. Sometimes you have to add in K2, but not usually. So just have a little apple cider vinegar before bed. So now the other thing is that you asked about the Candida thing, and also cleaning your CPAP machine. One of the best antiseptics that I know of is grape seed oil. Okay, grape seed oil. So you can get it online, and you just take a couple drops, mix it with water, and then spray it, and use it as a kind of a cleaning, disinfectant thing. It just kills everything, but it keeps your cells really good. And you can also take it orally, just a couple drops in some water, and that's the best thing for Candida that I know, grapeseed. Some people do the grapeseed extract. I like grapeseed oil, and it works really, really good. And I'm not going to get into a whole thing on that, but that is the best anti-fungus, anti-mold thing that you could possibly imagine. So you would take that, but as you're doing this keto intermittent fasting, you're going to starve the mold and the fungus and the Candida because it lives on sugar. So you absolutely need to clean that up. But as you do intermittent fasting, I just created a video. I'm going to release it this weekend on a new thing called autophagy, which a lot of people have never heard of. But autophagy is the body's ability to recycle damaged cell parts. So it's kind of like when you go intermittent fasting, and there's other things that trigger it, you start recycling all the garbage and waste in your body a lot faster and replacing with new cells. That's like anti-aging on steroids. And that's why intermittent fasting makes you look younger. I mean, I'm 29 now, so I've been doing it no, I'm just kidding, I'm 52. But the point is that every time I do this, I keep looking younger and younger because I'm doing this autophagy, which is intermittent fasting. It's cleaning up the old, bringing in the new. But the other thing that it does, which is amazing, is it cleans up pathogenic microbes. So infected cells, viruses, Candida, mold, it cleans that out of the body. So it just tells you that the frequent meals per day is a bad idea. So you want to do 2 meals, maybe 1 meal a day. And all of a sudden things start, your immune system does better, your sleep apnea does better, you have less immune problems. It's pretty awesome. All right? Very good question. Hey, for those of you, I have people that are on Facebook now, so I want to welcome you here, and thanks for spending your time asking questions. Just realize, go to YouTube. I'm on YouTube too, and I subscribe to my YouTube channel because I release 2 videos a morning. This weekend I'm going to actually release one on autophagy and another one that's going to be pretty awesome. So you have to check it out and subscribe on YouTube. And then those of you that are on YouTube, go to Facebook. I release kind of sometimes different content on Facebook, and definitely follow me there too. I'm always doing different things, so I would love to have you go there as well. So David, you're from Texas. You had a question about hair loss? Go ahead.
Yes. How you doing today?
Great, thanks.
I've been taking your product for, it's going on the 2nd bottle now, and my wife kind of noticed that I was taking it, and she goes, you're wasting your money on that because the hair follicles are dead. So my question is can you bring that dead follicle back to life is what you're doing, or is the follicle kind of just dormant?
Good question. Well, I have a question. Does balding running in your family with your father or your grandparents?
Not my father, but my grandfather, and on my mom's side. And the history, they say, is if it's on your mom's side and it's their father, then if they're bald, you're going to be bald. So there's a couple things with that. If you're completely bald, sometimes it takes, honestly, it doesn't always happen in 2 days. Sometimes it takes a few months to kick in. I would give it like 3 months to really test the waters because in addition to one more thing I'm going to tell you, but I don't always assume it's always going to be genetic. A lot of times I'll have people do it and all of a sudden they start seeing little tiny hairs coming out where before they weren't. One of the things that will speed things up is in the shower, you can take some coconut oil. You can even do olive oil and then really rub it into the scalp, like massage your scalp really thoroughly to stimulate the follicles on the hair and see if that doesn't speed things up. But it's, I put something in there, one ingredient for
to lower something called DHT, which is a very powerful type of testosterone that destroys the hair follicle. So on a rare occasion, you might need more of that one ingredient, but normally not. That would be the stinging nettle root. So those are things I would do. And I mean, if you're not seeing anything within the 3rd month, then it could be genetic. But I would do those things and just give it a little bit more time and see what happens, David. Thanks for calling. Margaret, you're from Texas. You had a question about keto. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
I'm a new mother and have opted to exclusively breastfeed and have been encouraged to intake oats and grains for milk production. I found that it works, but how do I maintain a keto diet with intermittent fasting? The baby's very gassy when I take in green vegetables. What are your dietary recommendations and any supplements I should take? And I'd also like to add that I have PCOS, but after 17 years of following the keto diet you recommended, I became pregnant with no fertility treatment. So I wanted to tell you thank you for that. I feel really blessed about that. And I just went to my OBGYN and this week and just informed after 6 weeks that my PCOS seemed to have been suppressed. So again, I want to again thank you about that. But I do want some help. I want to keep the keto diet, but a lot of times I feel ravenous, like I want to eat everything that's in sight. And a lot of times I'm hungry. So I haven't really been maintaining the keto diet since I've had her, but I do try to take in the vegetables. So like I said, she's very gassy, almost colicky, that she just is so upset.
Okay.
So I just wanted to see if you might be able to help me with that. Thank you so much.
Sure. Okay, Margaret, so this is what you do. You're going to, first of all, definitely don't do 2 meals. If you're hungry like that, do 3 meals and just start increasing a little bit more fat at the end of the meal. If you need a snack, go for it. I just don't want you to be hungry because you're pulling a lot of nutrients and your body's telling you I need more nutrients. So you're going to have to maybe supplement with certain supplements. But the point is that if your baby is colicky and there's some gas going on, usually it's the vegetables. So you're going to have to switch up the vegetables and probably not have as many cruciferous, if at all. I would do regular salad things and test different things to find out what it's going to be, because apparently your baby doesn't have the enzymes yet to digest those, fibers that are coming, the nutrition that's coming right from your milk, and the fibers aren't coming, but the immune stamp that there's a sensitivity there could be coming through there. So I would just switch up your vegetables that you're consuming. Very few people have an allergy to romaine lettuce. Maybe try that. Also try some sauerkraut, which is a fermented vegetable. Now, to get the breast milk really fortified, do the nutritional yeast. You can get this or get a powder. You could get brewer's yeast too, but the nutritional yeast works the same. And that will definitely enhance the breastfeeding, and the baby will be very, very happy. But I'm glad that you're breastfeeding, and I think that by doing the keto and intermittent fasting, that lowered your insulin, which actually helped the polycystic ovarian syndrome, which then made you fertile. So it's all working. You just need to tweak it. Thanks, Margaret. Okay, so also for those of you watching online, I want to thank you for being here. And my purpose is to help you so you can help other people and yourself. So definitely press the share buttons so we can get this word out and just help other people. Hey, Victoria, you are on the air. You're from Maryland. You had a question. Go ahead.
Hi, Dr. Berg.
Hi.
I'm curious if you can speak to the barometric pressure sensitivity that some of us have with headaches and joint issues, etc.
Yeah, sure. So basically what you need to do is get a job as a weather person to predict the weather, and then you'll be set. And we can use you to predict when it's going to rain. No, just kidding. I think that a lot of people start having joint pain, and when they have this pressure sensitivity. The only thing that I know to improve that is to create more space and less inflammation in the joint itself. Now, how do we do that? Well, ketosis and intermittent fasting. Intermittent fasting will probably help you more than even ketosis, but do them both together. And then that's going to drop your inflammation, which therefore then we have less itises, arthritis, bursitis, tendinitis. So that's going to help you greatly. The other thing that I'm going to tell you that's connected with a lot of inflammation in the joints, believe it or not, is mold in the body. I would say a great majority of the population has high levels of mold. Now, the intermittent fasting, the ketosis will starve the mold, but a lot of times you'll need some like grapeseed extract to kill the mold. So you want to maybe find a supplement that you can have that. I would recommend the grapeseed oil. That's a little better than the extract. And when you take that, that kind of cleans up. Sometimes it takes between 2 to 4 weeks to kind of clean up that internal environment, but I've seen dramatic results. So try that, and then let us know if it worked. Thanks, Victoria. Hey, Gwen, you're from Oklahoma. You had a question about joint swelling too. Go ahead.
Hey, Dr. Berg, first of all, I just want to say thank you very much for this program, because I started your adrenal body type program in July, and I lost some weight, and I'm very excited about that. But I noticed about a month ago that my hands began to swell, and the joints became painful, and my wrists became painful, little ache in my knees. And so I'm just determined that I'm not going to stop doing this program, but I need something that's going to help with the swelling and the pain, because it's very painful at night, and I wind up having to take ibuprofen just to get some sleep.
Okay, so there's two things. One thing is I wasn't going to talk about this, but there is this new thing that I'm going to do a whole video on, a presentation that it'll just blow you away. And it's all I'm going to say. It's a amazing change with stiffness and pain. Okay, but I'm just going to put you in a mystery on what that's going to be. But just shifting gears, if you're doing ketosis and you're doing intermittent fasting, and all of a sudden this joint pain gets worse, what that is, it's higher levels of uric acid coming out of the body, because the uric acid crystals that usually are in a gout form, which can have it in the hands and the feet or the big toe, they can't really be dissolved in an acid urine. So here the ketones are acids, so they can't be dissolved, so you build up more acid crystals. So what you need to do, very simply, is add a lot of lemon juice, which is citrate, into your water. Like every time you drink water, you add like probably 2 or 3 ounces of lemon juice. You start drinking that, and drink a little more water, start flushing it out. The other thing is to, I recommend my electrolyte powder, just because it's an alkaline drink and it has a lot of potassium. You need potassium citrate. That's going to alkalize the urine, bring the pH a little higher. Now the uric acid will chill out a little bit more. Okay, so that's really what you need, and just have to realize that keep your vegetables very, very high. And then if you're doing intermittent fasting, this is what I'm doing now. In the morning I don't eat, but you know what I'll do? I'll do a kale shake. I'm trying to do it every morning now. I was doing it every other morning, now I'm just going to do it once in the morning, because I just feel so much better when I do it. So I'll get up, and I get up like at 5 o'clock in the morning, right? So, but I won't do the shake until like 7. I'll do a kale shake, put a little bit of berry in there. I blend the kale. I keep everything in the freezer, so it's all frozen, take it out, blend it up, and it fills up the whole blender. I'll drink that whole thing in the morning. I know, it's like 2 huge things. I'll drink all that, but I won't eat until like 12:30. So all that kale just alkalizes the urine. I mean, just like, I'm just kind of a human guinea pig to test it out, but I'm liking what's happening in my body. I'm getting a tremendous amount. I mean, that's like all my greens for the day right there. But of course, then I have another salad. So I'm just experimenting with all these phytonutrients, but I think that's what you should try. I think you'll see some huge changes. All right, Gwen? All right, so Natalie, you're from Dover, Arizona. You had a question.
Yes, Dr. Berg. It's Gilbert, Arizona.
Oh, okay.
Thank you. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you so much. We so enjoy watching your videos and listening to you all the time. My fiance and I have been doing the ketogenic diet and intermittent fasting for about 2 months now, and it's been going great. But when he uses the keto sticks, he always comes up really dark purple all the time, and we didn't know if that was a sign of something or if things were working properly, and we didn't know if maybe we should switch to the blood keto meter, if that would work better.
Okay.
He's an adrenal body type.
So in other words, what you're saying, he's showing up like he's in heavy ketosis.
Yeah, every time.
Okay. Well, that's a good thing. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, first of all, I want to thank you for listening and following, and that's awesome. So I really appreciate all of you that are on the calls right now and also just watching, because thank you for that, because I'm helping you. But here's the thing that you have to realize, that if you're getting strong ketosis, it means a lot of ketones are coming through the urine. That's a good thing. As you do it longer, you're going to see less and less of that. You can also alter your ketosis or ketones by adjusting the fat level for your body. So you're taking a little less fat, and you probably won't have as many ketones coming out. But it's not a bad thing. But if he adds exercise into it, a little more intermittent fasting, he'll actually probably go down in the strength of the ketones coming out of the urine, because the stronger it is, it means that you're really in some serious fat burning, but it's being released. You're getting extra ketones that you're not metabolizing. It could also be that if he's adrenal, the adrenal is, maybe there's some adrenal damage, and it's just taking longer to use the ketones more efficiently. So I usually get the opposite question, where people are trying to go, well, I'm not seeing any ketones, but I'm losing weight. That's because you're burning up all the ketones. So I don't think I would worry about it. I would just keep going like you're going, and as long as your stomach is loose and you feel good and your clothes are loose around your stomach, and I think I would just ride the wave and keep going, keep tweaking it, because I think you're doing great. All right, good. Hey, Bill, you're from Annapolis. How you doing?
Hi. Good morning, Dr. Berg. Thanks for taking my call.
Sure.
So I have a question regarding cholesterol. It's a little mixed question of cholesterol and electrolytes. So I recently had an episode of atrial fibrillation. I went to the hospital for it about 2 weeks ago, and I know that atrial fibrillation has a relationship with electrolytes and possibly an electrolyte imbalance, where maybe my potassium and magnesium were out of whack, and it triggered it.
Mm-hmm.
While there, the doctor said my lipid numbers were high. I had very high cholesterol. My LDL was higher than optimal, and my HDL was lower than optimal. Triglycerides were higher. I am on a ketogenic diet. I have been now since mid-July.
Mm-hmm.
Have had great results. Lost about 30 pounds so far. Dropped about 5% body fat.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is my cardiologist wants to put me on a statin drug, Lipitor, and he also wants me to take a daily low-dose aspirin. Both things which I'm apprehensive of doing. I've read and done research on statin drugs, and I've watched some of your videos about statin drugs, and really not wanting to do that.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to get your thoughts on the ketogenic diet, especially regarding electrolytes, because I know it can deplete you.
Right.
And I think I'm taking it enough, but maybe I'm not.
Are you also doing intermittent fasting?
I am. So I usually eat my first meal around 11:30 or noon. My second meal around 6 p.m. Those are the 2 meals. The only other thing I do throughout the day is I usually start my day with 2 tablespoons of apple cider vinegar in the mornings, and I actually mix that with a little bit of Himalayan salt.
Mm-hmm. And how much vegetable?
And I do take.
How much vegetable do you consume in a given day? How many cups?
So probably mostly it comes from salad. I usually use mixed greens, sometimes mixed greens with spinach, but I've actually been adding vegetables. I've been adding bell pepper. I eat at least 1 to possibly 2 avocados a day, usually 1 with lunch, 1 with dinner. So that's why I feel like I'm taking in enough.
So total cups, would it be 7 to 10?
Probably there, yeah. I mean, it's hard when it comes to measuring salad. It's kind of hard because salad, you can pack it in there or you can kind of do it loosely. But I usually eat. I weigh it sometimes just to see how much I'm actually eating, and I'll eat like 6 ounces of salad for lunch.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. Well, first of all, I want to say I love your town. I can't wait to visit that in the fall. It's just simply gorgeous. Annapolis is just gorgeous in the fall. I will be going there. I want to check it out. It's just a great town, so it must be nice to live there. But here's the question, and I'm just going to give you a disclaimer first. Everything that I say to any recommendations are not meant to diagnose anyone or tell them not to take medication. It's mainly for your entertainment. Okay, so that being said, let me give you my opinion on A lot of times when you do this, the fat cell, when you release it, it has triglycerides and cholesterol. So a lot of times that'll start going up and you think, oh my gosh, it's a heart problem, blah, blah, blah. So there are advanced type of cholesterol measuring things that you can look at to really look at the type A and B pattern, cholesterol, LDL, and that's what I would do with you. I would check to measure A and B, because the A is big and fluffy, the B is the dense, and that's more the problem area. But I think healing the original reason why your cholesterol is high is going to be vital, so the arteries are have good integrity, and that would be the vitamin C from the sauerkraut, which would be really good to consume. But the atrial fib, that's merely a potassium, magnesium thing, and if you get a blood test and it comes up normal, that means that it could be intracellular, not extracellular. So that means that it's, because you really only have 2% of your potassium outside the cell, and 98% of it's inside the cell. So doing a blood test really doesn't, it's worthless with potassium. You have to do a special test called an intracellular potassium test. And you can look online, you have to get like a little scrape of your cells, you have to do analysis, and that'll tell you the electrolyte profile inside the cell, which is very, very important. I would imagine yours is going to be low. That's why you can't find this on a blood test. So let's assume it is low. I would take my electrolyte powder and I would do probably 4 scoops of that a day in addition to your vegetables to really get the potassium high, because that has all the electrolytes, has a lot of potassium, and then see what happens over a period of time. To build up your potassium levels inside the cell sometimes takes months and months. It's not a quick thing, but I will say that when you do the keto, you tend to use more potassium, so you need more. And you might have been going into this with lower levels of potassium. So that's one thing. The other thing is you want to add exercise to this, which you might be already be doing, and also vitamin B3, niacin, and also red yeast would be another great natural things to help regulate cholesterol and help clear it out. And those are the things I would do, and then reevaluate this like each month for the next few months and see if the trend is getting better or worse. The main thing I would be interested in is your triglycerides. Make sure those are doing better and better and better than not really high. But I think what's happening now, you're just getting rid of this fat, and it's coming. It's being released, so it's coming out to the liver. So you just have to work on keeping that liver flushed all the time. And I think you're doing the right thing. Okay, Bill. Thanks. All right, so Joanne, you had a question you're from Charlottesville, Virginia. Your thyroid and ovaries were removed.
Yes. I had thyroid cancer 6 years ago, and then ovarian cancer 2 years ago.
Wow.
So excuse me, I started some of your products. I ordered the wheatgrass and the adrenal.
Okay.
And I just wanted to make sure that I'm on the right program. When I did take the adrenal pills, it did calm me down. I was really amazed at that, and I was able to sleep better at night. Mm-hmm. But I just want to make sure that I'm taking the right amount.
Got it.
And so I started the diet.
Yeah.
But on the second week, it kind of made me sick on my stomach because I didn't have enough carbs, because my body seems to crave the carbs. And I'm definitely insulin resistant.
Okay.
Whatever you can, I appreciate.
Yeah, so we got kind of a couple things going on. Definitely there's one common denominator between the thyroid and the ovaries, and that would be iodine, sea kelp. That's the one that I think would benefit you a lot, and probably you're estrogen dominant too, so the cruciferous is going to be important in like the kale shake thing. So you're right in the beginning of the whole ketosis thing, so you need to get this little booklet, and the other book too, but this is the most important thing, because I kind of talk about the keto adaptation phase. The fact that you crave means that you're insulin resistant, so all we have to do is do this correctly and support the B vitamins. Okay, here's some B vitamins, potassium, the vegetables, and then adjust the fats between the meals so you don't have to snack in between the meal, and just give it a little more time until all of a sudden it's like, wow, cravings are going away, I can do this, things are working, And then you'll start to find, well, I'm not even hungry, I crave nothing, and the insulin resistance is better. But I think you're taking the right supplements and because it's working, but I think you're missing the sea kelp and maybe some B vitamins from the nutritional yeast. And then as far as your eating goes, just keep your vegetables high. And this is the whole thing, like I don't recommend doing any supplements unless you're doing the diet because you're actually correcting the real problem. So you really want to keep that foundation there, get the basics on that and plug that in there and then adjust the fats between the meal. I think if you did that within a week, you probably would be adapted. All right, Joanne. And I just want to say thanks for your calls, everyone, and also press the share button. Let's spread the word to your friends, family. I know you want to be helped, but let's get other people some help as well because I can't really contact all these people without your help. So I appreciate in advance you sharing the word. Hey, I have someone from Germany. It's I guess it's Rafina? You had a question.
Yes, yeah, my name is Rafina.
Rafina.
I have a question. My dad was on dialysis years and about 2 years transplant. Right now, his parathyroid is overactive, and the doctors want to remove it or. So my question was: is there a natural way to get rid of the problem without doing the surgery?
Yeah. Well, here's a touchy question because if there's a tumor on the parathyroid, and you should search my videos on parathyroid, okay? If there's a tumor on there and it's growing, it's a little more advanced, okay? And he might need a surgery if there's tumors growing on the parathyroid. And you find a good surgeon that can do it. And I've known quite a few people who I've followed over a period of time and they've done that and they're fine. Like it's not a lot of bad things that happen to them. Out of all the different surgeries you can have, a person could do very well because usually you have like a tumor on one of the parathyroids or two of them. You take those out, the other ones can compensate. So that's what I would recommend with that. But without really knowing the case, without knowing anything about your dad, and it's a medical question, I would just put him on the exact thing I'm putting everyone else on, which is the eating plan we're talking about, and then see what happens, see if he gets better. Vitamin K2 is a really good one for parathyroid because the parathyroid glands are right behind the thyroid and they regulate calcium. But again, watch the videos and then get him on the basic program and let's see what happens, okay? Thanks for calling from Germany, that's awesome. So Ryan, you had a question. You're from La Crosse, Wisconsin, awesome.
Yeah, Dr. Berg, thank you. I was actually got into cycling to help me lose some weight. I'm type 2 diabetic. But then about 6-7 weeks ago, I started doing a ketogenic diet. I learned a lot from your videos and some others. And basically my question is doing long-term rides, like 5+ hour rides. I do a lot of intermittent fasting. I've done 2 to 3 hour rides without eating anything, just water. I'm just wondering about your recommendations for longer term, 5, 6, 7 hour.
That's funny you asked
rides.
that. Funny you asked that, and I will say that my ice cream manufacturing company is actually in La Crosse. So I went there. It's gorgeous. I'm from Wisconsin, the Kenosha, Wisconsin, which is on the other side, but beautiful area, of course, in the fall. It's gorgeous. But the point with the bike riding, there's a whole movement of endurance athletes, long distance runners, long distance type people that do biking are doing the keto and intermittent fasting, which is amazing because they found there's several studies. I actually released this on a recent video that show that you become a fat burning, fat oxidizing machine on steroids. You burn so much fat, so you'll have to consume more fat. But your body, if you do this over a period and you adapt your body over a period of 6 months, 8 months to a year, and you're really adapted, your system will switch over to burning fat, and you will not experience like the drops that people that carbo load and drop the glycogen reserve real fast and hit this wall. You won't do that. You'll be able to switch over to fat burning efficiently, but you just have to work with it. So honestly, what I would do is I would do a search on long distance athletics and ketogenic diet and adaptation and just get some more data on it. But I think you're doing the right thing. And yes, you can get to a point where you fully adapt, you're burning fat, and you're not burning that sugar anymore. It's a much better fuel source. I think your performance will be improved because that's what it shows in the studies, and you're going to have some serious fat burning. Thanks, Ryan. Eileen, you're from Orlando, Florida. Go ahead. You had a question.
Oh, hi. Good morning. Thank
Good
you
morning.
for answering me. I'm a huge fan. My
Oh,
husband too.
Awesome.
I had a sleeve bariatric surgery a year ago,
Mm-hmm.
and after the surgery, I lost a huge amount of weight. But after a year, I start getting little by little, not a lot of weight, but 1 pound, 2 here and there. That's when I came across one of your videos, and I started with the intermittent fasting. And right my first month, I lost 10 pounds, and that was great.
Yeah.
Now I would love to get into keto, because now I stopped with the losing weight, and I would love to go on keto. But my problem is I cannot hold the huge amounts of salads in the sitting.
Yeah.
So I can stand maybe my protein and 2 cups of salad in each sitting, but not 5 cups of salad. So my question is, if I'm having 3 meals, because my meals are not a huge amount of food, if I can snack on my salad between them.
Yeah. Okay. Good question. When someone has bariatric surgery, they just have a smaller surface area on their stomach, so you're a little compromised. You're missing some parts. So what that means is you're not going to be able to digest 10 cups of salad in one sitting like myself. You're going to have to spread it out within the eating window that you have. Have a salad, wait a little, have another salad, and that's going to be a lot better. But the other thing that you should do is you should do the wheatgrass juice powder, because it's a concentrated, kind of a concentrated salad. The nutrition, not counting the fiber, because it's hard to compare wheatgrass juice powder and vegetable, right? Because the vegetables have fiber, this one doesn't. But if you took 3.5 scoops, that would be equivalent to the nutrition in 7 cups of salad. So I would definitely do that, because the problem you have is the fiber, digesting all the fiber. But at least we can give you the nutrition without the fiber, and you'll get the nutrition, because that's the thing that you need to heal the insulin resistance and the other things that you're running into. The other thing is the trace minerals. Trace minerals is a liquid. You can take that. It's good for bariatric patients, because the nutrients go right in like a rocket ship. They're absorbed immediately, and that also helps speed up the metabolism, and also the thing that you're probably really missing. The other problem is the fat-soluble vitamins, because the stomach pH has to be correct. The stomach has to be right for the gallbladder to work. So you may need to add a little gallbladder formula to get your fat-soluble vitamins to be absorbed. And I think then that will kick in more of the fat burning, and then you'll be fine. Okay? All right, good. Melissa, you're from Nevada. You had a question about a couple things. Go ahead. You're on the air.
Hi. I did marathon training, and I didn't eat enough, so I'd go out and run, come back not hungry. I'd maybe taken 900 calories a day, but that was with no fats, no carbs, processed, no sugars and that. Well, anyways, my body started padding up and holding onto it. And after my marathon, I realized I quit exercising, but I realized that it ate my muscle, and I'm really weak. I know it messed my adrenals up. I'm getting my adrenals under control. I'm feeling so much better. I've been on the ketosis and intermittent fasting for like 2 weeks now. I've lost like 7 pounds. It's thinned out my face. I mean, I feel great, but my big concern is, and I eat between like 1 and 7 and only 2 meals, but I'm afraid that since my body's been like in this caveman style and never hungry, I'm afraid that I'm not eating enough. I am noticing weight is coming off. It's coming off my ribs, and that I keep measuring, but my scale isn't going down, but I'm not worried about that. But I'm concerned that I'm not bringing in enough calories, and I'm just going to kind of keep my body in a starvation mode. And then also, when can I start really exercising again? I'm not talking about doing the HIIT, because I know that would just kill my body right now. But am I just to exercise like walking, lunges, push-ups, and that during my hours of eating.
Good
And
question.
so,
Yeah, you have some really good questions. So let me just kind of answer them. I'm going to turn to page 6 right here in this little booklet right here. The definition of food: that which is eaten to sustain life, provide energy, and promote the growth and repair of tissues, nourishment. So basically that's why we eat, right? So I think with you didn't provide enough nutrients, and with the exercise, there's been deficiencies. So you basically kind of you created a starvation type thing in the body. And then there goes the proteins, there goes this, because you need like minerals, potassium to help the muscle. In fact, the purpose of vitamins, they're cofactors to help make body tissue. So you basically just didn't have enough of the right things to be able to maintain the muscle and the collagen and all the joint stuff. So now, your metabolism said, okay, we better go into a starvation mode. So now you're getting things back, things are better, but you're not hungry. So instead of focusing just on food, focus on nutrient density type stuff. Like make sure you get your nutrition. So do the kale shakes, do concentrated type foods that have high levels of nutrition. And even though you're not hungry, still have 2 really big meals, because we're already trying to make up the damage from what happened. So you're going to have to just eat those regardless if you're hungry to get the quantity of food, to get the nutrients. That's the goal, so you never starve again. And I would do that for a period of time. I would probably do that for like 3-4 months. Now, probably maybe a month from now, start introducing exercise on a nice gradient, walking slowly and then gradually increase it to make sure that it's not too high, make sure the hair's not falling out, make sure your protein is fine. But the intermittent fasting is going to help repair things. Autophagy, I'm going to release that video. So those of you who are on Facebook, those of you who are on YouTube that are not subscribed to my YouTube channel, subscribe right now, because this weekend I have this release of this video called Autophagy, which will blow you away. It's basically a way better benefit than weight loss for doing intermittent fasting. And it's like the anti-aging on steroids without taking the steroid. So check that out and subscribe, because I want to release that video. I'll try to release it tomorrow morning. So at 6 o'clock, all right? Eastern Standard Time. Okay, Melissa, thanks for the question. Hey, Tim, you're from Orange County, New York. Go ahead, you're on the line.
Hey, good morning, doctor. How are you?
Good morning.
Good morning. So I've been following the ketosis diet and following you for about a year now. Pretty successful with energy levels and weight loss, feeling great. I just got some blood work back from my job, and I have some high cholesterol numbers. Could I run them by you for some advice?
Yeah. So are your triglycerides high too, or no?
Triglycerides was 139. The reference range was 150, so I guess it was not.
Okay. So did you ever have a test before, like a while ago, to compare it?
I do annually, and I don't have it with me.
Okay. So
I know I was always kind of right on the threshold, like, right. I was kind of like borderline.
Okay.
This year I was actually flagged by my job. They kind of said, like, hey, you better take a look at this. Something's up.
Okay. And this is a very important subject, because I'm telling you, there's so much data on like cholesterol. It's like a killer. You go in fear, you take the drugs, or you really need to understand cholesterol. And I actually released 4 videos. I would highly recommend reading those or studying those, and not reading them, watching them, because especially the ones on LDL, because when you do the keto and intermittent fasting, your cholesterol will go up, because think about it, you're actually losing fat. Part of your fat cells are cholesterol and triglycerides. So how is that going to come out? You have to dump it. It's going to dump to the liver, and your liver that might be a little fatty, so it might not go down at some point. But even people that are have a genetic cholesterol problem are doing this with great success. If you understand these numbers and then do it for a little bit longer, you can actually add some niacin if you want to tweak it and improve things. Add some lecithin or choline, those are all B vitamins. Add more vegetables, apple cider vinegar, maybe some red yeast extract to help lower cholesterol naturally if you feel comfortable. I mean, if you want to do that. But the point is that you want to give it more time, and the cholesterol will come down. But to do this without having it go up might not work. Cholesterol actually is your body makes 3,000 milligrams of cholesterol every single day. So if it's so bad, why does our body make that much? That would be equivalent to 14 eggs or a pound of butter or 300 strips of bacon. So really, cholesterol is there to help you and make hormones, and I think you're just releasing it, and I think you're going to be fine. Just give it more time. Thanks, Tim. Okay, Mike, you're from Northern California. Go ahead, you're on the air.
Hey, hi, good morning.
Good morning.
Earlier part of the summer, I did like a 2-month fast. I started out doing just juices and then moved into some protein drinks, and then I was doing more than just doing more of the protein drinks than anything, and it was quality protein. But at one point, I quit losing weight. I'm 350 pounds. I used to be a national class athlete. I raced bicycles on a professional level and really healthy, and then I had some knee injuries, and I've lost all that. So back to what I was saying, about after 2 months, I quit losing weight, and then I started getting really sick. I mean, I was throwing up. My wife, she's been an RN for 38 years. She was thinking, like, because I get pain up in my gallbladder area, she says it, and, you know. And so I started doing the wheatgrass juice and the volcanic lemon juice and the apple cider vinegar. I'm okay, but about every 2 weeks, if I'm really not careful what I eat, I get sick again.
Yeah.
As far, you know, I don't get sick. I go stick my finger down my throat because of the pain in that upper, my right-hand side of my stomach, like where the gallbladder is. Is there a way that I can get that healed up? Or I won't go to the doctor if I refuse to. I'd rather just die.
So let me explain, Mike, what's going on. There's probably some sluggishness in your gallbladder, okay? So, and it's actually good that that's there. I'm going to tell you why, because that's your red light, your indicator light that your oil gauge is off on your car, and your body's trying to say, you know, stay on the program, stay on the program. Don't go off the program, or else I will put you in pain. I went through that myself. So you really need to be 100% disciplined on this program and really start going into intermittent fasting. Because, I mean, think about it. You're over 300 pounds. So we know that there's been some abuse to the digestive system, the liver, probably fatty. So here you have this weak link in the gallbladder that is just going to just be sitting right there to wait for you to just eat a little carb or something like that, or too much of the wrong thing, and then bam, it's just going to create a lot of pain, which is then you have to, you know, vomit, because the symptom of nauseousness, pain right there is definitely a gallbladder problem. It wouldn't hurt for you to confront what it is by getting an ultrasound to see what the heck is in there. Let's say there's a whole bunch of stones. Well, you should know about that. You need to do the gallbladder formula that I have. You need to be doing the kale shakes in the morning to start to take those nutrients to flush out. I would add beet leaves. And I think if you do that, you're going to be fine. But you just need to change your viewpoint, and instead of doing it 90%, do it 100%. Because it's too risky to have a gallbladder problem. All right, Mike, I hope that inspired you. Okay, so Jared, you're on the air. You're from Arizona.
Yes. Hi there.
Hi.
So I started the keto diet about 4 months ago, and I didn't know what I was doing. I wasn't consuming potassium or magnesium. I believe my body was really depleted. About 2 months ago, I started watching your videos, and I got the wheatgrass, I got the electrolyte powder. I started following the plan you eat, which is eggs and bacon, doing 7 to 10 cups of of spinach and salad a day, and then I just received B5. I just started taking that, but my problem is I haven't been able to sustain energy all day. I've been kind of fatigued throughout the day. Do I need to just give it time, or do you have any suggestions?
Do you have any sleeping issues?
No, I don't have any sleeping issues. I go right to sleep. I wake up okay. Sometimes I'm groggy getting out of bed.
Okay.
But
and do you have any, are you doing intermittent fasting?
yeah, I mean, I only eat about twice a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would just plug in I would just do one thing, and I would add if you're already doing the potassium electrolytes, I would add the nutritional yeast. You could do it in the tablets or the powder, but that goes beyond the vitamin B5, And that should take care of your energy pretty quickly. And then just give it a little more time. And I think you're going to be totally fine. You're just in the phase where you're in the transition phase, and that's all that's wrong. So just give more time and add the Bs. If you're doing potassium, the fatigue will lift. Happens with just about everyone. Thanks for your question. Okay, John, you're from Toronto. You had a question.
Yes, I'm starting to look at some dieting issues, and I've watched a lot of your videos, and I was wondering which is better? Is it better to do full fasting or intermittent fasting? And also, can you, to maintain your exercise program, is it okay to keep going to the gym throughout either of those?
Good question. Okay, so I'm just going to give you some general answers on that. It really depends how much insulin resistance and blood sugar issue and hypoglycemia and prediabetes that you have. Let's say you have no history of blood sugar problems. I mean, you could handle full fasting, which could be like fasting for 24 hours and then maybe eating for a day, back and forth. I think it's probably unnecessary. I like intermittent fasting because it's consistent, it's easier to do, it takes less discipline, you get to eat every day. A lot of my clients do 1 meal a day, which is surprising, and that's some powerful fat burning. I do 2 meals a day, but I would work up to 1 or 2 meals a day. That's what I would recommend. But the difference between fasting for a longer period of time and then eating and then fasting for a longer period of time, the results are fairly similar to intermittent fasting. I wouldn't say one is better than the other because both of them will stimulate autophagy, which is the clearing out of all the cellular debris and the anti-aging and cleaning up pathogenic bacteria in your cells. So I think you're going to get benefit on both. So I would pick the one that you like, and or you can experiment. But I've not seen more results with one versus the other. Make sure you get your nutrients though. That's the key. So if you're doing fasting, you have to eat bigger meals. Thanks, John. Hey, Judy, you're from New York. Go ahead. You had a question.
Hi. Thank you for taking my call. I've been with you for a long time, Dr. Berg, and I just love you.
Oh,
I took the quiz, and I ordered the adrenal kit. My question is, I was wondering if I could take all of the other supplements that I am taking now when I get this kit and started. I'm taking D3 with K2. I take stone root, magnesium, vitamin B and C, and I do have your wheatgrass, and I love it. And I just wondered, can I still keep taking everything else with the kit?
Sure, absolutely. The only question I have is like your vitamin C. How many milligrams is it?
I don't have it right on me, but tell me what I should be taking, and I'll up it, down it.
Just make sure the vitamin C, a lot of times people get vitamin C and it's synthetic, they don't know it. So especially if it has high milligram dosage, like over 500, we know it's synthetic. So look in the label, make sure it's a food base, make sure it's not just all ascorbic acid. That's one thing. Number two, if you're taking calcium, make sure it's not calcium carbonate. Now, I do use in my digestive formula, I use a little calcium carbonate just as a binder, but it's like 0.01 milligrams compared to 500 milligrams. So it's not going to be a problem. But the point is, when you take 500 milligrams of calcium carbonate, bad idea. I like calcium citrate, calcium lactate, and then you want to always take your calcium on an empty stomach right before bed. But in general, no, you could mix it. There's not going to be any problem at all. Thanks, Judy. Patricia, you had a question from Pennsylvania. Go ahead.
Yes, my son, he's been struggling with nausea and vomiting for probably 5 years, I would say. And now he's got a dizzy spell. He'll wake up. He's been missing a lot of school. And one time, just recently, he fell asleep on the couch and he woke up, peed, and he said he had no sense that he had to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And
does he do a lot of carbs?
Yeah, he does.
Yeah.
A lot of carbs.
You know, the whole the bladder thing, kids that, wet their bed, that's all blood sugar issues mostly. Because you think about a diabetic, they're urinating frequently, okay? Why is that? Because there's higher sugar in the blood and it comes out. Wherever the sugar goes, the water goes. So if he's a teenager, it's going to be really tough, but you're going to have to somehow get him on a better eating plan. Maybe start making some of these keto bombs that we have, recipes my wife and I do, to give him some alternatives so then he won't eat less sugar. And then you need to just kind of get it out of the house and replace it with some sugar-free type things, okay? And then try to get him to eat something green besides pistachio ice cream and lime green jello, like actual vegetable. And so he could start eating that and get healthy. That's really going to solve his problem because nausea is kind of like a gallbladder liver issue. Hey, been there, done that. I have the t-shirt. At that age, I was doing the same thing. I don't know how I survived, but I would try to get to him, okay? Hey guys, I want to thank you guys for being here, listening to me. I appreciate all your great questions. Go ahead and click share and follow me on the different social media. I'll be here next week on Thursday. Have a wonderful afternoon.